Now we are going to discuss about the reactivity of pyridine N oxide. So we are taking one tertiary amine as the reference. So we are taking trimethylamine. In trimethylamine, the nitrogen is attached to 3 methyl group. So there are 3 methyl group and the compound is amine. So that's why this is known as the trimethylamine. Trimethylamine is the tertiary amine. Now here nitrogen is attached to 3 carbon. Carbon is less electronegative as compared to nitrogen. So flow of electron will be from carbon to nitrogen. So we have denoted the flow of electron towards the nitrogen. So this resultant compound is polar in nature. So the dipole moment of this compound is 0.65 dBi. So the trimethylamine is having dipole moment 0.65 dBi. Now when we convert this tertiary amine into its N oxide, what will happen? We'll see. So we have oxidized the trimethylamine and we'll get trimethyl N oxide. So we'll get such type of compound. Now this is very much polar compound. Nitrogen is having the positive charge and oxygen is having the negative charge. So here we are having the two poles. In addition to that, nitrogen will take the electron from the carbon. So the flow of electron is from carbon to nitrogen. And now we know nitrogen is less electronegative as compared to oxygen. So the flow of electron will be from nitrogen to oxygen. So initial flow is from carbon to nitrogen and then nitrogen to oxygen. So flow of electron is in this direction, carbon to nitrogen, nitrogen to oxygen. The dipole moment for the trimethylamine N oxide is 5.02 dBi. Now when a tertiary amine is converted into its N oxide, there is a rise in the dipole moment. So we'll see how much is the rise, how much is the difference between the dipole moments of these two compounds. So we'll calculate the difference between the dipole moments of trimethylamine N oxide and trimethylamine. So 5.02 dBi is the dipole moment of trimethylamine N oxide and 0.65 dBi is the dipole moment of trimethylamine. So the difference will be 4.37 dBi. Theoretically, it is expected that when a tertiary amine is converted into its N oxide, the dipole moment should increase by 4.37 dBi. Now we'll take the pyridine. This is the structure for the pyridine. In pyridine, carbons are less electronegative as compared to nitrogen. So flow of electron will be from carbon to nitrogen. So we'll denote the flow of electron. So that is from carbon to nitrogen. So this is polar compound and its dipole moment is 2.22 dBi. So this is tertiary amine. Now we will convert this tertiary amine into its N oxide. That means we are going to convert pyridine into pyridine N oxide. So this is the structure for pyridine N oxide. Here we are having the two poles. Nitrogen is having the positive charge, oxygen is having the negative charge. Nitrogen is more electronegative as compared to carbon. So carbon will donate the electron to nitrogen. Nitrogen is more electronegative as compared to carbon. But when we compare the electronegativity of nitrogen and oxygen, nitrogen is less electronegative as compared to oxygen. So nitrogen will donate the electron to the oxygen. So overall flow of electron is from carbon to nitrogen and nitrogen to oxygen. Earlier we have seen when a tertiary amine is converted into its N oxide, the dipole moment should increase by 4.37 dB. So we'll calculate the expected dipole moment for the pyridine N oxide. So we are going to calculate the expected dipole moment. So for that purpose, we'll take the dipole moment for the pyridine and we'll add to that of the difference in the dipole moments of tertiary amine and its N oxide. So 2.22 dB plus the difference in the dipole moment, that is 4.37 dB. The total will be 6.59 dB. That is nothing but approximately 6.6 dB. So expected value of dipole moment for pyridine N oxide is 6.6, but actual dipole moment of pyridine N oxide is 4.25 dB. The actual dipole moment is smaller as compared to expected. That means as we have expected there is more polarity, but actually there is less polarity. Why this is happening? This is happening due to the back donation of electron from oxygen to nitrogen. So earlier we have thought about only the flow of electron from carbon to nitrogen and nitrogen to oxygen, but here back donation is also happening. That's why there is a reduction in the dipole moment than the expected value. So we'll see the resonance structures for the pyridine. So this is the first resonance structure for the pyridine N oxide. So we'll donate the electron from oxygen to nitrogen and nitrogen to ring. So here oxygen will be having the 3 lone pair of electron. We'll shift one of the lone pair of electron in between the oxygen and nitrogen. So there will be formation of double bond between oxygen and nitrogen. At the same time, one of the carbon nitrogen double bond will convert into single bond. Now this carbon will get the negative charge and the negative charge of this oxygen will be vanished. Positive charge on nitrogen will remain as it is and we'll get the second resonance structure. Now here on this carbon there is lone pair of electron that will shift here to form the carbon-carbon double bond. So this carbon-carbon single bond will convert into double bond. At the same time, these 2 pi electron will shift on this fourth position carbon. So this carbon will be gaining the negative charge and will get such type of third resonance structure. This lone pair of electron present on this 4th position carbon will shift here to form the carbon-carbon double bond. At the same time, this carbon-carbon double bond will convert into single bond. Now this carbon will gain the negative charge and will get such 4th resonance structure. Here we have discussed the donation of electron from oxygen to nitrogen, but in pyridine N oxide there are 2 types of electron donation: carbon to nitrogen, nitrogen to oxygen, and the second one is the oxygen to nitrogen and nitrogen to carbon. So we have discussed the second one. So now we will discuss the first one. So donation of electron from carbon to nitrogen. So consider these 2 pi electrons will be given to the nitrogen. So the positive charge will vanish and there will be positive charge now on this carbon. So we get such type of resonance structure. Consider this as the 5th resonance structure. So this carbon is now having the positive charge. Consider these 2 pi electrons are shifting here to form the new carbon-carbon double bond. So this carbon-carbon double bond will convert into single bond. Now this carbon will get the positive charge and will get the 6th resonance structure. Now the positive charge is on the 4th member, that is the carbon. Now these two pi electrons will shift here to form the carbon-carbon double bond. So this carbon-carbon single bond will convert into double bond. This carbon-carbon double bond will convert into single bond. Now this carbon will get the positive charge and will get seventh resonance structure. Now here we are having the 7 resonance structure. Now concentrate on the resonance structure 2, 3, 4. So you will notice there is negative charge at position number 2, then at position number 4, and then at position number 6. So numbering in pyridine N oxide will be, nitrogen will be having the first ring member, then the adjacent carbon will get the second number, this will be 3, this will be 4, this will be 5, and this will be 6. Now in resonance structure 2, 3, 4, you will notice the negative charge is at position 2, 4 and 6. So as the position 2, 4, 6 are electron rich, the electrophilic substitution will happen either at position 2 or position 4. Position 2 and position 6 are equivalent. So the electrophilic substitution will happen at position 2 or position 4. Now concentrate on the resonance structure 5, 6, 7. You will see here the positive charge is at carbon number 2, then at carbon number 4, and then at carbon number 6. So positive charge is at position 2, position 4 and position 6. That means the nucleophilic substitution will happen at position 2, 4, 6. Earlier we have seen the electrophilic substitution is happening at position 2, 4 and 6, and now we are saying the nucleophilic substitution is also happening at position 2, 4 and 6. That means pyridine N oxide will show the reactivity depending upon the reagent. If the reagent is electrophile, that will create the negative charge at position 2, 4 and 6. So the electrophile will go to the either position 2 or position 4. In presence of nucleophile, the pyridine N oxide will create the positive charge at position 2, 4 and 6. That means the on demand of the reagent, pyridine N oxide will behave as electrophile or nucleophile. So here it is behaving as the nucleophile and reacting with the electrophile. Here it is behaving as the electrophile and reacting with the nucleophile. So this is the reactivity of pyridine N oxide. Both nucleophilic as well as electrophilic substitution will happen at position 2, 4 or 6. So this is about the reactivity of pyridine N oxide. So we'll see certain reactions of the pyridine N oxide. So first one is the halogenation. So in that we are going to discuss chlorination and bromination. So first we are going to discuss about the chlorination. So pyridine N oxide, when treated with the thionyl chloride SOCl2 or phosphorus trichloride PCl3, there will be chlorination, electrophilic chlorination as well as reduction. So this pyridine N oxide will convert into pyridine. That means there is reduction and at the same time there is chlorination. The chlorination is happening at electron rich position 4. So we are getting the 4-chloropyridine as the major product. In addition to that, there will be 2-chloropyridine as the byproduct. That will be the minor product and the 4-chloropyridine will be the major product. So in short, pyridine N oxide when treated with thionyl chloride or phosphorus trichloride undergoes chlorination and reduction and gives mixture of 4-chloropyridine and 2-chloropyridine. Here 4-chloropyridine is the major product and 2-chloropyridine is the minor product. When we treat the pyridine N oxide with the phosphorus oxychloride, that is the POCl3, there will be chlorination at position 2. In earlier case, we have seen there is formation of mixture of 2-chloropyridine and 4-chloropyridine. Here, in presence of phosphorus oxychloride, we will get exclusively 2-chloropyridine as the product. So, pyridine N oxide, when treated with the phosphorus oxychloride, undergoes chlorination as well as reduction and gives the 2-chloropyridine. Now we are going to discuss about the bromination. So when pyridine N oxide treated with the bromine in presence of oleum, oleum is nothing but the H2S2O7. So pyridine N oxide heated with the bromine and oleum. Here the electrophilic substitution is happening at position 3 and there is no reduction. That means this oxygen will be retained in the final product. In earlier case, we have seen there is chlorination and oxidation. Oxygen is removed. In the final product, there is no oxygen. But in case of bromination, there is no reduction. So oxygen is retained as it is. So pyridine N oxide, when heated with the bromine in presence of oleum, that is H2S2O7, there is formation of 3-bromopyridine N oxide. Earlier we have seen the nucleophilic as well as the electrophilic substitution in pyridine N oxide will happen at position 2, position 4 or position 6. But here we are getting the 3 substituted product. So why this is happening? So pyridine N oxide reacts with the proton provided by the oleum and there will be formation of 1-hydroxypyridinium ion. Now this pyridinium ion will behave like this. So there will be electron distribution like pyridine or pyridinium ion. So in pyridine, the electron distribution will be like this. The electron density at position 2, position 4 and position 6 will be less. So that means the electron density will be more at position 3 and 5. So electrophile will go to position 3. Same is happening in case of 1-hydroxypyridinium ion. So the electron distribution in 1-hydroxypyridinium ion is like this. The electron density at position 2, 4 and 6 is less. That means electron density at 3 and 5 will be more as compared to position 2, 4 and 6. So the electrophile will go to the position electron rich position 3 and will get the 3 substituted products. So in this case we are getting 3-bromopyridine N oxide. So this is about the halogenation. Now we'll discuss about the nitration. So we know nitration can be done with the help of nitrating mixture, that is the mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. So pyridine N oxide, when treated with the concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid at 160 degrees Celsius, undergoes nitration, electrophilic nitration. So the nitration is happening at position 4 and we'll get the 4-nitropyridine N oxide as the product. So pyridine N oxide treated with the nitrating mixture at 160 degrees Celsius undergoes aromatic electrophilic nitration reaction at position 4 and will get 4-nitropyridine N oxide. So this is about the nitration. Next reaction is reaction with the sodamide. Sodamide is nothing but sodium amide. So the abbreviation of that is the sodamide, NaNH2. So pyridine N oxide when treated with the NaNH2, here sodium will be having the positive charge, NH2 will be having the negative charge. Actually this is nucleophilic substitution reaction. We know nucleophilic substitution will happen at position 2 or position 4. So pyridine N oxide when treated with the sodamide NaNH2 in presence of liquid ammonia at lower temperature undergoes aromatic aromatic nucleophilic substitution reaction and gives mixture of 2-amino pyridine N oxide and 4-amino pyridine N oxide. So this is the amination reaction that is commonly known as the Cauchy-Babin reaction. So pyridine N oxide when treated with the sodamide and liquid ammonia at lower temperature undergoes aromatic nucleophilic amination reaction and it will give the mixture of 2-amino pyridine N oxide and 4-amino pyridine N oxide. This reaction is commonly known as the Cauchy-Babin reaction. The next reaction is reaction with the N-butyl lithium. So pyridine N oxide when treated with the N-butyl lithium. So lithium is metal that is attached to carbon. So lithium will be having the positive charge and butyl group will be having the negative charge. So this negatively charged butyl group will abstract the proton. Proton means hydrogen without electron. Both the electrons shared between this carbon and hydrogen will be given to the carbon. So there will be negative charge on this carbon. This negative charged carbon will be balanced by this positively charged lithium. So we'll get such type of lithiated pyridine N oxide, 2 lithiated pyridine N oxide. So at position 2 there is nucleophilicity now. So this nucleophile can attack on the electrophile. So we can write this lithiated pyridine N oxide like this also. So there is bond between the carbon and lithium. So here we have shown carbon is having the negative charge, lithium is having the positive charge. So these two electrons when shared between carbon and lithium will get such type of bond. So one can show like this or like this also. This nucleophilic carbon can react with the electrophile. So this nucleophilic carbon attacks on the electrophile that will detach this lithium plus and will get such type of electrophilic substitution product. So we'll see few examples of this one. So I will write this reaction as it is. So pyridine N oxide treated with the N-butyl lithium will get the lithiated pyridine N oxide. Lithiated pyridine N oxide when treated with the electrophile undergoes electrophilic substitution reaction. Now we'll take different electrophile. So we'll take carbon dioxide as the electrophile. This electron rich carbon will attack on the electrophilic carbon of the carbon dioxide followed by treatment with the acid and we get such type of carboxylic acid. This is nothing but the pyridine N oxide 2-carboxylic acid. Similarly, instead of carbon dioxide, if I take the bromine, this electron rich carbon will attack on the electrophile Br plus and will get such type of compound. This is nothing but the 2-bromopyridine N oxide. Thank you for watching.